Thank you, dear Professor Marinkas. Dear colleagues, dear friends, it is really a great honor to be here today with you, and I would like to express my gratitude to the Central European Academy, to Professor Szilágyi and his team for having me here today with you. Furthermore, I would like to apologize in advance for my voice. I've lost my voice a few days ago, not because of participating in protests, but anyway, it happened for health issues. I hope I'll be able to deliver today's presentation. And also, thank you for keeping the best panel for the end of today's conference. I will try to present my article that I have prepared within the ProfNet network. And the first part of it deals with the so-called European law on religion. The question is whether there is a common European law that regulates religion in all European Union member states. And then I will try to identify whether there are some intersections or maybe influences of European integration processes on this European law and also vice versa. And finally, to discuss a little bit about Western Balkans and the issues that Western Balkan states face in their integration process, and also whether this level of protection when someone in some moment is achieved can be reversible. In other words, is there possibility of backslidings and violations of religious freedom due to some circumstances like such as war, for example. Generally, this discussion about the common European law on religion has started in 1990s by professors. It was a theoretical question first, trying to identify whether there is a common European state-religion relationship model. So is there any European model of relationship between state and religious organizations? In 1997, the Treaty of Amsterdam included this Article 17 that provides that the European Union respects and does not produce the status of under national law of churches and religious associations or communities in the member states. So the EU has a limited authority over church-state relations within its members. Furthermore, European Union equally respects not only religions but also philosophical and non-confessional organizations. And maybe something that was a great discussion during the preparation of European Constitution, the Union recognized the specific contribution of churches and religious, obviously, organizations, but probably also not non-confessional and philosophical, at the European continent. So the same article was included in the Treaty of Functioning of the European Union, and also the Charter of Fundamental Rights protects religious freedom in the same way that actually mirrors the European Convention of Human Rights. The Article 9 and Article 10 of the EU Charter are almost identical. So everything started in 1979 when, and it has to do with the accession of Greece to the European communities. So actually integrations have triggered this idea of regulating religion by the European Union. So this is a joint declaration concerning Mount Athos, that is a small peninsula in Greece, inhabited by monks. And the important here is that it was recognized on the grounds of a spiritual and religious nature. So even since 1979, there were attempts to recognize the importance of spiritual and religious nature. And here you can see that even some rights, like right of establishment, were limited because or due to spiritual reasons, because according to the tradition and to the Greek law, only monks can be established in this small, tiny peninsula in Greece. Since 1979, actually in 1975, the substantive body of EU community law concerning religion has been growing and continued to expanding until nowadays. There are three reasons identified in theory. The first one is generally revival of religion in the public sphere. Religion became again, after the era of secularization and laicite and so forth, again religion is a part of public debates, all political debates and so forth, and that's why some regulations are necessary again. The second reason is religious pluralism in the European continent. Only 50 years ago, religious composition of peoples in the European continent was very simple. There were Catholics on the west and southwest, Protestants on the north, and Orthodox in the east, with some exceptions, of course. Nowadays, thanks to the integration into the European Union, migrations have changed this religious landscape, and therefore new issues have arisen, and those issues have to be somehow regulated. I'm sorry, I'm not doing it. I don't know why. And finally, the recent development is the jurisprudence of the Court of Justice of the European Union that started to deal with religious issues. So there are at least 20 different decisions that dealt with very sensitive religious problems, and probably because of this. For example, they dealt with the employment of religious requirements for employment, or even how Jehovah's Witnesses keep their data about the people that they try to convince to become members of their religious organization. So they have to follow all European regulations on privacy policy. What are the fundamental principles actually stemming from the Amsterdam Treaty regarding this European law on religion? First of that is the value of religion, that it was recognized and by this treaty. Then subsidiarity. Member states are responsible to establish relations with their religious organizations, and European Union actually acts only when it is necessary on the European level. Religious freedom, and we will see that it is not only protected by the Charter, but also during the negotiation process of candidate countries. Religious freedom is one of important issues, and I will show you in the case of Western Balkans how does it work. Religious equality and non-discrimination, there are many cases of regulations and declarations that actually prohibit discrimination on the grounds of religion. And almost every single paper that prohibits discrimination mentions discrimination based on religion. The autonomy of religious organizations is really important notion, actually stemming from religious freedom. There is no religious freedom without autonomy of religious organizations. If they are not free to structure themselves, if they are not free to create their beliefs, then there is no religious freedom. And we will discuss this in cases that emerged in the eastern of Europe nowadays. Cooperation with religion also is one of elements of this common European law on religion. Not only dialogue that is prescribed by the treaty, but also in many most substantial ways. Like it, for example, all churches and even communities like Jews and Muslims, they have their offices in Brussels that cooperate with European Union. And finally, special protection of religion. Religion is usually, not only in Europe, but especially in Europe, enjoys some special privileges and exceptions. It can be tax exceptions, it can be different kind of help that is provided to religious organizations comparing to other associations of, that do not have religious character. How did the integration of Central European countries in this case impact, what was the impact on state-religion relations? First of all, almost all, except Slovenia, accepted this hybrid of cooperationist model of state-religion relations. That means that state and church or state and religious communities are separated, but they cooperate when they have common goals. The second characteristic are those agreements between state and religious organizations. In almost all countries of Central Europe, there are some agreements, except for Czechia, but I think that finally they signed, but they didn't ratify it yet, so they haven't ratified, but they will probably in recent future. Multi-tier registration systems, so different categories of religious organizations, and it is important to underline that there are no systematic violations of religious freedom after the accession to the EU, and especially that's obvious from the jurisprudence of the European Court of Human Rights, because it has found only few cases, in few cases that there were violations. Now, when we come to the Western Balkans, here are some important notions of religion. In 2024 reports on the progress of Western Balkan countries towards the integration into EU. Of course, here there is something that generally should be said before this. The 2024 reports are less detailed comparing to 2023 reports or even older reports. So for some reason, religion was not in the focus of the European Commission, at least when they were preparing 2024 reports. In Albania, for example, they identified that there is increasing attempts of foreign entities to influence churches and religious communities in Albania. Those are actually Muslims mostly, and their organizations that try to influence Muslim organizations in Albania. In Bosnia, they identified discrimination based on religious affiliation, hate speech, hate crimes based on religion, everyday life in Bosnia, and also incidents targeting minority returnees. They do not mention this year the issue of the agreement between Bosnia and Herzegovina and the Islamic community. Bosnia and Herzegovina has signed or entered into agreements with all religious organizations, the traditional religious organizations, except the main one, the biggest one, and that's Islamic community. There are some political issues why they are not able to adopt this agreement. In Montenegro, they just highlighted that the Constitutional Court dismissed challenges to the constitutionality of the new law on religious freedom and the agreement with Serbian Orthodox Church. In both last year, for example, or the 2023 report contained a detailed report on the religious freedom in Montenegro, identifying even the Russian influences in that country. But I have already said that in 2024 they avoided to analyze in deep the situation. In North Macedonia, almost nothing. They just confirmed that religion or belief remains constitutionally guaranteed. And in Serbia, only Serbian report on Serbia is exactly the same with 2023 report. So it was brief enough, not brief like the others. And they have identified the two issues. The first one is the status of non-traditional churches. This is something that every year you can find in reports on Serbia. So because there are different categories, like in many other Central European countries, but also in many other European countries. And there are no special problems with acquisition of legal personality, but still they refer to this problem. The second problem is the access to religious worship in minority languages. This has to do with Vlachs in the eastern Serbia. They speak a kind of Romanian language, but they do not identify themselves with Romanian, or they do not have this ethnic identity, Romanian ethnic identity. So they complained, or actually Romania complained years ago that they do not have access to worship in their mother tongue. So every year the Commission repeats that there is this issue with access to the worship. Of course, there is a problem here with also, the same problem is with Egyptians in Serbia. They are Muslims, but they have the same issue. Of course, here is the question what the state can do, because the problem of the language used in worship, that is the problem of the church. And if the state imposed to the church to use a certain language in the worship, it will violate its autonomy that I have already mentioned previously. Of course, there were some steps done by Serbian Orthodox Church to find Romanian-speaking priests, and they are now working in the eastern part of Serbia, but this issue remains. The question that I asked in the beginning, is there possibility that after the successful accession and after all those new member states adopt all the acquis and start to protect religious freedom, is there any possibility of backslidings? First example here, I think that we mentioned this during the student conference in Budapest last year. For example, in Romania, after the accession to the EU, the restitution of the property of churches and religious communities actually was abandoned or stopped, or so before they entered to the club, they tried to prove that they will align its law with the EU, and then when you get into the club, then you can do as you wish. So the second issue that we can find in Baltic states is the problem of securitization of religion. In Estonia, for example, here you have this famous case of denying to renew the residence permit to the spiritual leader of Russian Orthodox Church in Estonia. Also in Latvia, the parliament adopted the law by which the parliament granted autocephaly or independence to the Orthodox Church in Latvia, something that's impossible to happen because the state has no any power to provide special status to any church entity. In Lithuania, we had the same situation with this appeal that was supported by the Prime Minister to gain independence, the Lithuanian Orthodox Church to gain independence from Moscow. And finally, probably you all have heard about it, that in Ukraine, of course, Ukraine is not a member of the EU yet, but this is probably the most obvious violation of religious freedom, that is by adopting the law on the protection of constitutional order in the sphere of activities of religious organizations. This law actually banned Russian Orthodox Church in Ukraine. It was the only reason that it was adopted was to eliminate Ukrainian church that belongs to the Moscow Patriarchy. Just to conclude, this European law on religion obviously will continue to evolve and to grow. There will be probably a variety of different configurations of state-religion relations. Probably the European Court, the Court of EU, Court of Justice of EU, won't intervene into the state-religion relations. Some religions, usually dominant, will continue to enjoy preferential treatment, and that's something that belongs to the European tradition. Maybe we will face stricter registration requirements, especially for smaller groups, and the problem of securitization of religion will be probably addressed on the European level, because those cases that on which I referred show that it is an issue that can today we can justify these limitations and restrictions by the war in Ukraine, but if another war happens or without a war, maybe you can just imagine if we are against Trump, maybe then evangelicals will be tomorrow securitized, or some other group for any other political reason. Thank you so much for your attention, and I'm looking forward to our discussion.